Hey up my ducks, I've just realised I'm streaming the wrong the wrong banner, so let me hide that. I thought that had changed, but it hadn't. So hello and welcome. I'm a little bit dark, aren't I? It's a bit it seems to get darker earlier, even though the days are drawing out now. So how is everybody? I can't believe there's already 44 people here. Is the internet lagging? I seem to be a little bit sort of sticky. I'm sure you know what I mean. Don't want to show off my hallway either. So let's do a little introduction. Hopefully the sound and everything is okay. I'm hoping. So hello to Ellen. Sorry about the lockdown. Yeah, it is what it is. Ink Witcher Girl, Elizabeth, Anne, hello Anne, Caroline, Ellie, Sandra, Marina, Jenna, hello. Who else have we got? Richard, hello Richard, and Jackie. Jackie's keeping an eye on the news for us because there's another Prime Minister announcement at 5 o'clock, which is now. But he could be late. He very often is late to his briefings. She's going to let us know if there's anything major today, because we had our big national address at 8 p.m. last night, hence why I'm here. More about that. Stephanie and Maddie. Tycon, hello Tycon. Chris, hi Chris. Hope you had a good day at work. And Kimberly, hello Kimberly. And Gray Hayes, good to see you. See if there's anybody I've not missed. Kristen Louise, hello. Celtic Tarot, Sheila, hello Sheila. Regina, Ellen. Hi Jamie, good to see you. I have to remember these channel names now. Trisha, and anybody else? Lily of the Valley. Elaine, hello Elaine, how are you? And Jen, hi Jen. Ness, Isis, Claire, and I think I've caught up. So hopefully I'm not too sticky. It might just be what I'm looking, but there seems a bit of a lag. You know, like those old 1970s like Top of the Pop shows, the music show, and they do that with their hand, and there's like a trail following the hands, all kind of arty. I feel a little bit like that, whether that's how it is or not. I'm good, thank you, Simon. I hope you are too. Here we are once again. Do you know, this is really, I want to say it's great to be back, and it is great to be back, to be able to, you know, chat to you guys and say hello and hang out with you. That's always a pleasure. The unfortunate thing is the circumstances. I can't believe we're back where we are almost a year ago. It was quite difficult this morning, getting up, setting my computer up at my desk and thinking, I'm here till at least February half term, possibly March. You know, with having a full national lockdown. But what can we do? You know, it's out of control in the UK at the moment. It is alarming. The new variant is 50 to 70%, not times. You kind of get what I mean. You know, faster in terms of its transmission. And, you know, our NHS is at breaking point again. And the figures are higher than what we had last year. So they've had to do something. So schools and colleges and everything are now shut. Distance learning is taking place. And we're back where we were in March of last year. So I always said that if we found ourselves in that situation again, I would come back with QuaranStream, because it's vitally important. You know, it's vitally important that when people are locked in like we are, that there is that sort of opportunity, even if it's just for an hour a day, just to connect with people and, you know, hang out and, you know, just try and, even though by the mere fact that this is called QuaranStream, we're kind of reminding ourselves of it. But I also want it to be a little bit of escapism so that we can, you know, we're cognizant of what's happening in the world. But also for an hour a day, we don't have to watch the news. We don't have to think about, you know, how bad it is out there. We can come together as a community and talk about our love and our passion for tarot and divination and everything else. So there might not always be a theme, because, you know, this is number 48 when you add up last year's and now these. And, you know, as much as we like to think, there's not always going to be a different topic for that number of lives. So sometimes it might just be a Q&A, a chat. We can decide as we go what we want to speak about. The other thing that I wanted to mention as well is, and thank you to everybody who has sent, you know, messages and let me know about healing that they've done for my mum and stuff like that. She's up and down, if I'm honest. She's up and down, and yesterday wasn't a brilliant day, and I had to go after work because they'd called an emergency doctor to her. So I cannot guarantee as well that I can't sit here and say I'll be here every day at 5 o'clock, because, you know, I've got to be realistic, and there might be times where I need to go to the family home and, you know, help out and support and everything else. So I was talking to Chris, and he came up with a really good idea, which I'd like to kind of pitch to you guys, which is that we have a bit of a quarantine. So I like what he did there. A quarantine for QuaranStream, where, you know, if I can't come on and host a QuaranStream, then there'll be other people in that team who would be able to pick it up and say, okay, yeah, I'll go live tonight. And at least then, you know, and I would obviously then advertise that in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group. And I can also put out a community update on YouTube to say QuaranStream tonight will be, and link it to the host channel. But that is a way to just keep QuaranStream happening every day whilst we're in lockdown. And I don't know what's happening in other parts of the world. You know, I'm very much at the moment, because this kind of came out the blue last night with the national address at 8 p.m. I don't know. And I did get messages from people in the States saying, we're just hearing on the news, hope you guys are okay. I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world, and whether other people are in lockdown situations either, like we are here. But, you know, this is for anybody. You don't have to be in a lockdown. You know, it's your community, and we'll support each other whether we're in lockdown or not, because whatever kind of tier system you're in, or whatever sort of lockdown restrictions you may be in, you know, this is a global event. It's a global happening. That's why it's a pandemic. So we'll support each other as we can. I'm mindful I'm seeing perhaps some questions that I might be missing as well. So hello, Elle, good to see you. Just see if there's anything. I'm a theme. Elle, you're a theme, are you? I've been in lockdown since March of last year. I know, Selkie. It's the same with, you know, the lovely Kelly, my friend Kelly Bear. She's also been in lockdown since it all began, and a few people who have to shield. It's been a tough couple of days. Yeah, it has, Jen. And my love to you, my friend. What apps do you use to organize tarot decks? I use Libib, Libib. You can, well, I'm on Apple, so it's on the App Store, but I believe it's on most kind of app stores. And you can just scan the barcodes and it adds it to you to a category that you state. So I've got tarot, oracle, etc. Simon, whatever you give of yourself and your time is always appreciated and never demanded. Thank you, Neem. That's really kind. Oh, and people are thinking it's a good idea. Sorry, I paused the chat as I went down that little rabbit hole. But yeah, count me in. Sounds great. Tag team. Yeah, so that sounds like a good idea. So what I'll do is, if you want to be a part of that team, let me know. I can always create something like a little Facebook group, and then you know, if for some reason work's running late, or like I said, I'm needed somewhere, I'll just drop in there. Can anybody pick it up? And we'll see how we go. Pamela says, great idea, because I'm all alone every day. So we will try our hardest between us to make sure there's at least a stream happening around this time every day. And I do think it's important to have it around this time, just because people, you know, they can kind of schedule it into the day. They can rely on it. They know when it's going to be. So Sweden is not on lockdown. Okay, that's good to hear. I'm in Luxembourg. We had the lockdown for last week, and this one will open schools and commerce next Monday. That's good. So your rate of infections must be, or rate of transmission, the R, as they call it, must be coming down. So that's good. Oh, Raven, morning glory. I'm really sorry to read that. Yeah, it's just been a really tough time at the moment. Yeah, somebody in my team who I manage lost a loved one this morning to COVID as well, and it's reality. It's real, and I'm just going to say it. I've got no time at all for conspiracy theories right now, and you know, I've seen a few things in the Facebook group, and I just don't want it. You know, because whether you believe this is some sort of global agenda or not, people are dying, and I just don't have time for, you know, just talk to people in the chat here, you know, who are losing loved ones. So wow, there's so many comments. To get my butt out the door, I made a snowshoe labyrinth in my backyard and got a wonderful 15-minute workout. Wow. Wow. Okay, so I'm glad it's lovely to see so many people here. We've got 109, so there's 4 in Facebook at the moment and 105 on YouTube. Yeah, Jamie, that's terrible. We had, I think it was just short of 60,000 new cases in the last 24 hours. 60,000 new cases in 24 hours. It's just staggering, really staggering. So I'm not sure if it appeared, because I set this up last night when I knew I was going to do it once we had the announcement. And then today I edited it because I thought of a bit of a theme that we could talk about. And no conspiracy theory crap allowed. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. There are some things that have happened in history that, you know, I believe aren't as they've been reported to be. I won't go into that now, but you know, there are some things that I think, yeah, that's more to that than meets the eye. But not everything is a conspiracy, and viruses are real. You know, they're real, and we're actually seeing and experiencing for ourselves the reality of it. So what was I going to say? So the title should say, if it's appeared right, and it hasn't on mine, but I did change it. But I wanted to talk about forgotten decks. Now, when I say forgotten decks, what I mean by that is those decks that, you know, kind of exploded in the community. Everybody was talking about them. Everybody was wanting them. Lots of people got them and said, oh, look, you know, I've got mine. And we did walkthroughs. And then they just seem to have been forgotten about. And I'm not going to, you know, assume that that's the case for everybody. And the ones I've chosen, and I've got 7 decks that I think kind of fall into this category of being forgotten. You know, there's lots of people who are watching right now and lots of people who might watch after the live. You know, I might show a deck and you might think, well, that's not forgotten. I use it every day. And that's fair enough. But these are kind of like my decks that I think, wow, I loved working with you, and I've not worked with you for a long while, and they've gone onto the shelf. Thank you, Jen. I just got your message. It just popped up. They've gone onto the shelves, and I've kind of, I suppose I know that they're there, but they've kind of been forgotten a little bit in favor of the new in vogue deck, or the ones that I like to work with more than others. So thank you for that year ahead spread. I've read with it. 15 friends so far, and they loved it. Wow, that's great, and you're welcome. So yeah, so these are my forgotten decks. If anybody wants to play along, you can put some comments in the chat. If I show a deck now and you say, yeah, I've forgotten too, or never even heard of that deck, which illustrates the point, particularly if you're relatively new to the channel, you might, new to tarot, you might think, oh, I've never even heard of that deck. Or you might want to, if you're a content creator, you might want to do a VR and say, these are my forgotten decks. Or, you know, if you're not and you're in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group, you might want to put some pictures in of your forgotten decks. But what I'm going to do is with my 7, after I've showed them, I'm going to leave them out. And the reason why I've chosen 7 is for the next week, I'm going to work with one of those decks every single day, because I don't want them to be forgotten. And I do get a lot of comments from people who say, with all your decks, how do you work with them all? And of course, I can't work with them all. Even if I work with a different deck every day, you know, there's a year and a half's worth of decks there. So I've looked through my collection, and I did it on my lunch today, and I've chosen 7 decks that I think, you know what? Yeah, I've kind of forgotten how wonderful you are, and I'm going to work with you. I could do a VR assignment. Lovely. Yeah, and anybody who wants to, then do so. And because I'm kind of going to be showing things, if you want to get my attention, if you can do what Sandra's done there from the Whispering Well and tag me, it will highlight. And if you're on a device where you can't tag, like a mobile phone or something, if you pop it into capitals, I will try and spot it and read it out. And if there's any mods in the chat and I miss them, then just, you know, poke me. But the last 2 I can see is MA, who said the thank you for the year ahead as she read for 15 friends, because that was highlighted. And the next one was Sandra saying she could do a VR. Hello, Kathy. Good to see you. So my first deck that is a forgotten deck, and if the title didn't change, I'll edit it afterwards. But this one was a couple of years ago. It's an indie deck, and everybody was going on about it, and it took me a while to get it. And I got it, and I must have used it for probably about 2 or 3 weeks, and I've not used it since. And it is the Mesquite Tarot. Do we remember this deck? And it's Diddy. It's really small, a really small deck. And it is absolutely wonderful. So let me give a size comparison. Standard tarot, Mesquite tarot. So look at that, the size difference. So it's a really diddy deck, but it's really lovely. I'll have it if you don't want it, Simon. I want all of these. This is why I'm doing it, Robin. This is, I'm going to be working with them over the next week. So it's quite a minimal deck. It has a plain card finish, that soft linen rather than the kind of raised linen or rough linen. But yeah, the really beautiful artwork. Look at the death card. Haven't seen this as Sia. Love the death card. Look at the drips of blood. And the serpent wrapped around the handle. I hope it gets reprinted. So is it out of print now, Al? Elizabeth says, I remember this one. Yeah, it's quite minimalistic, but it's lovely. And I love just carrying this around. And as I said, because it's so diddy, it just pops in your bag. It's beautiful to shuffle. And I only do over hand shuffling. Oops, he says, throwing one on the floor. It had to happen, didn't it? So here's the moon. And the colour palette is really soft. Look at this for the chariot. Isn't that amazing? Just look how she's flying across these mountains. Oh, it's like a dream, isn't it? The Emperor. Interesting. Love, strength. And the Empress as the female symbol. They are quite pippish. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. Here's like the Two of Pentacles. And they just have Roman numerals on them. Look at the Lovers. Here's our Fool. Love the Hermit. Look at that. So yeah, so the Mesquite Tarot, and I just, when I looked at it on the shelf, I thought, oh yes, the Mesquite. It's just a wonderful, wonderful little deck, but not many people talk about it anymore. And that happens, doesn't it? It's not the best light in there, but I've got all the lights on. I perhaps need to invest in one of those ring lights or something. I just don't want it kind of reflecting in my glasses. Or Hanged Man. Oh, look at the Six of Swords. Four of Cups, I love. So yeah, that's the Mesquite Tarot. These are the backs. It's illustrated by Bronwyn Walls, and it was 2017. So it's 4 years now. I keep forgetting we're now in 2021. So 4 years ago, but I think I got it in probably beginning of 2018. I feel that's the case. Okay, so my next deck that was all the rage at the time. I'm not sure if this has gone out of print or not. I know there was a limited number of them, but it's the Tarot of Musterberg. With the Siren card. So this deck is by Curio & Co. So I did remove the sticker, but I was able to put it on top of the box, so I didn't kind of lose that. But do you remember the Tarot of Musterberg? Such a wonderful deck. It's a Marseille style deck. the box has the rose petal. It's only a tuck box, but it's a nice tuck box. I love this color as well, this kind of teal color, but it's lovely. I like the look of this one. Jen, you're not alone. Half dressed Brandon Yuri. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So you have this little book, and there's the cartomancy guide, but then if you flip it over, you have game rules. Now, one of the things that people didn't really like a lot in the community was, is it Pennyland or Pennyland? So game rules, the 79 card deck of Pennyland. Now, Pennyland is a made-up fictional place, but in here, it talks about, you know, it's like an instruction booklet for fortune tellers who are having a tent at Pennyland to read for people, and it's supposed to be kind of like a fictional place, and it's a fictional deck. You know, it is what it is. But people are like, oh, I don't really like that, you know, and it's kind of saying things like how to read people, and it was almost like how to trick people and that sort of thing. But it is it's just a kind of a made up deck from a made up place in a made up time, but it still works as a tarot deck. So these are the backs. It is a chunky monkey. Again, it's a little bit smaller, so against a standard tarot, it's a little bit narrower, a little bit smaller. But the cardstock is really nice, and because it's kind of like a Marseille, it's got that sort of Il Meneghello type card. What I love about this deck is every single person in this deck has red hair as well. So here's our Fool, the Magician, and I love the art of this deck. Hi Shane, how are you, son? Made up deck from a made up time and a made up place, Pennyland. Here's our, but it is, you know, it's based on the Marseille. And you might have this side, which is like the game rules, but the cartomancy guide is pretty good. Here's our Hermit. And you see what I mean about the hair. Wheel of Fortune. It has strength at 11, which is fortitude. The Hanged Man. Love the Death card. Look at the Devil. And look at the little jug that is carrying. It's like something out of Beauty and the Beast, like Mrs. Potts or something. But yeah, there's the cheeky little devil. The Tower card, where the people are just as tall as the tower. If they were to stand up, they would just be the same height as the tower. That always makes me chuckle. The Star, Moon, and Sun cards are exquisite. Look at those. Stephanie says, I'm back and you're showing one of my favorite decks. Love Judgment. Look, the little skeletons coming out of the grave. Quite comical. And then after the world, we have this additional card, which is the Siren. Card number 22. And then the Miners. Now, even though it's based on Marseille, the arrangement of the pips aren't in Marseille style. So you can see here, we just got 2 swords, 3 swords, 4, etc. I'll show you some of the courts. Here's our Queen and King of Swords. They are beautiful. Look at, but then you get some that are very traditional. So look at the Ace of Coins and the Two of Coins. They're beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Our wands. But again, we don't have the arrangement like you have with Marseille. Yes, I said, Stephanie. Oh, you want here, was you? I said it was one of the things I liked about it is that it's everybody in it is a redhead. So I love this deck. I really, really love it. This time I'll show the page and the knight. And it uses a similar color scheme of greens, blues, and oranges mainly. Don't seem to have any more colors than those three. But cardstock is dreamy, really dreamy. So if you can still get it, then I suggest that you do. I think there was 500 made. But as I said, at the time, everybody was going on about Tower of Musterberg. And then I just don't hear it get a mention at all anymore. And that's why it's in my forgotten decks. I love this expression on the animals' faces. Yeah, they're quite comical. So that was my second choice. Now, my third one, again, I never see this deck getting mentioned anymore. And it's the Otherkin Tarot. Now, this is the set. So it's by Silo Thompson, who did Line Strider, which, you know, is always going to be her most popular deck, I'm sure. But Otherkin Tarot was so eagerly anticipated. It's very much in the same sort of art style as Line Strider, but this is an animal-based. Oh dear, I'm getting loads of emails at the moment. If you keep hearing these pinging noises, I apologise. Comes with a lovely book, full colour images on glossy pages. But I've seen this deck in passing. These are the backs, which are really nice backs. And I'm going to be honest, other than the walkthrough, I think I've used this probably once or twice. And it's quite glossy, so I'm trying to not get a glare of the screen on these. Here's the Hierophant, which is the owl. I thought it was my PC. You probably get the same email alerts I do. It's hard to show these because they are glossy. My favourite card, my favourite by far, is the Hermit. Just look at that Hermit. Isn't that beautiful? The Wheel of Fortune. So you can really see it's Silo Thompson's art style through and through, isn't it? Gorgeous Hermit, yeah. Death, I think, is wonderful. There's the Devil. Look at the moon. I am biased about Otherkin. I got mine as a gift during a pretty big time from my mom. Oh, yes, you did. That's right. The Sun card is beautiful. And that's the thing. It was one of your first as well. And they're always special, aren't they, Shane, when you get a deck that's gifted anyway. And there's the World. And then I'll just show you a few of the minors. The minors seem to be more colourful. I think that there's a lot more colour in them. 10 of Cups. These seahorses. So yeah, Other kin I don't see mentioned very often. Does many people have this deck? Other kin reminds me of the Wilder Woven tarot on Etsy, which I think I want. Not keen on the white spaces. Yeah, and that's very traditional for Silo Thompson, isn't it? You know, it's this kind of, although they're not all white cards, they do have these kind of splashes of colour and things around them. Like here, it's green, top and bottom. So, but yeah, so the Other Kin tarot is one that everybody was talking about and waiting for it eagerly, and then it was released. A few people showed it, but then I don't see it get a lot of mention anymore. It's Llewellyn, can't stand their cardstock. Yeah, it is, and it's typical Llewellyn. You know, the new box, the book, but it's not too bad. I've seen thinner cardstock than that. All right, so my next one. Again, Shane, you've got this, but massive hype at the time, and now it just seems to have disappeared a bit, and that is the Golden Thread tarot. This was, as far as I can recall, and you know, somebody will probably put no, there was more, but the first plastic deck that I ever saw or was aware of. And like I say, there'll probably be others, but for me, it was like plastic, you say? And when I first got this deck, I was like, oh my gosh, look how thin the cards are. You know, if this was paper, we'd be like, that's going in the bin. But the beauty of this is, of course, you know, with it being plastic, it's meant to be thin because it's very durable. If anyone doesn't know, I love the Golden Thread. Yeah, and do a reading with this with candle. Just have a load of candles around you and do a reading with this, and it is absolutely beautiful. Such a beautiful deck. So here's the Devil. So the idea of this is it's black plastic and beautiful sides are all in black as well. And then you've got this golden thread. That's why it's called the Golden Thread. But it's almost like a circuit board type. But look at these little Pac-Man monsters at the bottom. So it is really, really gorgeous. And again, I don't see many people shouting about this deck anymore. Here's the Death card. And it really glows. They did a Marseille deck after this that had colour in it. It was plastic again, but I forgot what it's called now. But Robin, you've got it, haven't you? No, the gold doesn't wear off. It's really, really well kind of ingrained into the card. I've had this a few years now, probably about 3 years. Seventh Sphere, that's it, thank you. The Hanged Man. Yeah, so I can't remember the last time, you know, I saw anybody doing readings and things using this deck, and plastic decks have become more commonplace. After this, I got the Deck of the Bastard in plastic. And then there's, of course, you know, like Ivy's decks with the Neo Riders. They had plastic cards. And I thought, you know, when I got this, I thought, I'm going to learn how to riffle shuffle with this deck because you can't go wrong with a deck like this for riffle shuffling. I did try. I think I'm impossible to teach. Look at that. That's beautiful, isn't it? Ace of Pentacles. Colour is quite important to me, so not sure how I would work with it in practice. but it's a deck I'm in awe of nonetheless. Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it, Chris? You can appreciate decks without having the need to own it. Here's our Fool. Yeah, so, oh, and the backs. I'll show you the backs because I think the backs are beautiful, really beautiful. So that's our backs with the 4 suits. Gorgeous. Jamie, you've switched your name back. You was in here earlier as your channel name. Simon, I don't think plastic cards are good for riffle shuffling. The cards go everywhere. A good linen card stock is the best. Okay. You just imagine that this would be easier to kind of do, but I will take it from you because I'm not a riffle shuffler, so I can't say if they are or they aren't, but I need a plastic deck, says Kathy. So yeah, so that's number 4. The next one I've got is the Brut Tarot. Now everybody goes on about Usi and Pagan Otherworlds, myself included. Pagan Otherworlds is one of the most beautiful tarot decks ever created, in my opinion. I think it is absolutely stunning. It's a masterpiece. But Brut Tarot has been around for years, and now there is the one that's kind of linked to the periodic table. There's the adult version tarot as well. I forget what it's called now, by Usi. But the Brut Tarot has kind of disappeared into the shadows a bit. And I just think I love the color palette of this, that you get all these kind of extra cards to make, you know, a picture, a collage. So lots of extra cards with it. These are the backs. Will the hashtag be my forgotten decks or forgotten decks? I'm going to do a VR. What I'll do is after this is uploaded, I will search, because if a tag is already taken, then I'll need to come up with something else. So I will, as soon as it ends, I'll search a tag and then I'll change the title for this video, and we can take it from there, can't we? But yeah, it'd be great if you did a VR, Jamie. I'd look forward to it. And I really like this art style. I love the kind of earthy color tones, very sort of beiges, browns, grays. You don't see kind of facial features. It's very blocky. But the pips are playing cards. And it was one of the first decks to do that, you know, to combine the playing card system with the tarot. And we see it now, you know, there's the Loki tarot. There's lots that are coming out, aren't they, that that do that. Here's one of the courts. So you can separate it off. You can use it as a playing card deck. It's taller than your average playing card, but it's not as big as a tarot card, as you'll see here. It's a little bit smaller. I'll watch for it. I'll let you know, Jamie. Oh, I'm dropping everything. I'll let you know as soon as I've done it. Have to go, everyone. My live with Gillian, just over an hour. Oh, live with Gillian's in an hour. I thought it was later tonight. I'll be there. I'll be there, Sandra. I'm only going to be on an hour anyway, but yeah, I really love it. Look at the death. Look at the death card. So it's a little bit sad that this doesn't get more love, because I got it really late. I only got it last year. And it was because I went through that phase, which I'm still enjoying, actually. When I did my desk space, you will have heard me mention that I have a set of playing cards out at all times, because I like to do playing card divination. But yeah, this one is wonderful. That's just, look out at that box. Well, I never. Let me put it back in. Here we have the Devil. So yeah, Brut by Usi is in that category as well. I'm wondering how you chose these. Did they jump off the shelves at you? Yes, Robin. Basically, that's exactly what happened. I was thinking, how did it come about? I was just kind of thinking about, because it's beginning of the year, beginning of the month, I think about, right, what deck shall I work with? And normally my newest deck is what I work with in the mornings, but I like to pull one off for the evening and work with it. And then when I went to my shelves, I was like, oh, there's a few decks here that I've not seen for a long, long time. And it kind of gave me the idea to pull a few off and work with them for a week. And then I thought, well, if I choose 7, that's 1 day a week. And I might come back at another point, you know, and do another 7 at some stage. I kept that seal in place. I love this box. It kind of reminds me of an aftershave cologne box. Not quite sure why, but maybe it's because I've got a few colognes in the bathroom in these kind of boxes. But yeah. A card fell out of the deck you were just holding. It did? I can't see any. Do you mean this? I noticed there was one behind, but I can't see one, but okay, second to last one then. The next one is Leeway, Laughing Eye, Weeping Eye. Oh, do you remember this? This deck was one of the, even before I had a YouTube channel, I used to follow, and it was one of the things that led me to YouTube. I used to chat to somebody on Instagram who was from Birmingham and used to put pictures up of tarot cards. Of course, I was interested. My Instagram used to be photographic, you know, and I used to play around with filters and things and do landscapes and all that sort of stuff. And I saw this person and he was showing this deck. And I was like, well, that's a very unusual tarot deck. And then I put it on my wish list, and it must have taken me 3 years to actually buy it. But everybody was, again, showing this deck, and then it just kind of vanished. That's the inside of the box, which I really like. This is such a simple, very basic deck, but again, wonderful. I love the backs. Look at the backs. And what I like about this deck is, I've always said, and this is no way to be derogatory to the creator, but you know, when people say to me, Simon, are you going to create a tarot? And I've got no artistic flair at all. I'm not artistic. I think anybody really could get a paintbrush and kind of come up with these images. And as I say, that's not. Hi, Connor. Good to see you. It's smaller than your standard tarot. So again, it's quite diddy. It fits nicely in the palm of your hand. It's kind of just a little bit bigger than a playing card deck. It is chunky. The card stock is really nice. It is laminated, but so you'll see here how simple the artwork is, and it really speaks to my inner child. I just saw a flash. The backs remind me of a 1970s bus. We never had buses like that in the 1970s. I wish we did. I don't think I've seen this one, says Emily. So here's our sun card. Judgment. It is so bright and colourful, but so simplistic. But it has been out probably about 5 years easily. I think I saw it back in 2016. Does it say in the little white book actually? But it's kind of like a fold out. No, it hasn't got a date. But you know, 4 of Cups, you still get that sense from the RWS, don't you? Look at this, you know, the kind of the central figure here, looking a bit down. And then here again with the 5. Love the page. Pages have these kind of little hats. The Partridge Family kind of bus. Knights have the kind of armor helmets. Queens have crowns. But yeah, just, I mean, look how sweet it is. Here's our page of wands. So you get the energy there. You get that it's a knight. You get that it's a wand. And you get the fire energy as well. Look at the devil. It's just some chains. Star. The moon is wonderful. Look at the moon. Look at that. It's kind of like a cutout shape of a wolf. With the night sky behind. The 6 of Swords, that boat. I really like it. Look at the Lovers. Strength. 147 people. Wow. Hello, everyone. Welcome. There's the Fool card. Oh, and the High Priestess is gorgeous. Look at that. So, yeah, Laughing Eye, Weeping Eye, often referred to as Leeway. It even says it in the bottom. Leeway. I love the Fool card. Hi, Gary. Hey, Gary. Good to see you. It's been a while since I saw you in a live. I'm more or less coming to the end now. We've just been talking about forgotten decks that were really popular and then just seem to have disappeared into obscurity. So the last one that I'm going to show is Blood, Bread and Roses Tarot. Who remembers this one? This one. Oh, this was actually sent to me by the creator. I love the box. We've got all of the elements here around the side. Really, really beautiful. The cards are gorgeous. So they are big cards. We've got these 2 beautiful red roses on the back. Gorgeous silver gilding. They are kind of oracle size. So if we're looking at the standard tarot, they're roughly the same height. They're a little bit shorter, but they're wider. And then on the inside, I've missed the QuaranStreams, but I'm also sad that they had to start again. Yeah, that's what I was saying at the beginning. There's this writing in the inside of the base, and it says, the fool at the beginning of her journey has no clue she is one, but gets a glimpse of the extent of her folly by the end. And that realization sparks the need to begin the journey again, to learn more of what she doesn't know and may never be able to fully grasp. So that's interesting, isn't it? It is a little bit collagey. Another new deck. But this deck is so vibrant. There's so much beauty and color in it. There are darker ones. So here for the Magician, we have the Witch. So it is female centric, although there are males in there. So you can alternate here. So for card 1, you can have your more traditional Magician, or you can replace it for the Witch. Empress is gorgeous. I love the Hierophant. Again, when it comes to the lovers, you have 3 choices, which I think is wonderful. You have your lover's card. You have 2 female lovers. And you have 2 male lovers. Love the Chariot. Look at this for the Chariot card. Strength. Just find a couple that Death card is beautiful. The Moon. And then here's some minors. I love how the king and queens match. Really beautiful. Yeah, so the Blood, Bread and Roses Tarot. Who was the artist? Freya's Daughter. Yeah, Freya's Daughter. And they do quite a few independent tarot decks. It's not just this one, but it's a really nice size. I just love those backs. The backs are stunning. And the whole presentation of this deck is just wonderful. King and Queens are beautiful. A very handsome Chariot, right? All right, so that's the forgotten decks, the 7 forgotten decks that I'm going to work with each day this week. We've got a couple of minutes left. So as always, what I wanted to do is pull an oracle card. So I always pull a tarot card, you know, when I do my lives, my couple catchment cards. But last year during QuaranStreams, we did a pull from the Roots and Wings Oracle. This year, I thought it might be nice to pull from the Moonlight Oracle, which is the RWS themed Oracle deck using the symbols from RWS. So I thought I'd pull an Oracle card from this each day. Make sure I'm taking out the title cards and nothing else. That's the additional progress card. That's a little booklet. Love your cave. It looks so cozy. It is cozy. I love my cave too. Even though I'm locked in. Isn't it funny? I love being here. It's my favorite place in the world. But when you're told, right, you're locked in, you can't go anywhere except for a little bit of exercise each day or to the shop, you kind of like, but I want to go out. I always used to say, you know, if ever I broke the law and I was put under house arrest, I'd be in the element. No, it's not. Okay, so a message for us to focus on. Oh, I can hear the bells. I'm running late. Do you have a Discord group? Not sure what one is. So that probably answers that. All right, so what's our card for today? The Thoughts. Oh, so we've got the Thoughts. Well, I guess it's quite apt, isn't it, for this time that we find ourselves in. This is a time where we are thinking, we're at the start of a new year, so we're thinking ahead. We're also reflecting, so we're reflecting back over the previous year. We're also kind of analysing situations as it emerges. So thoughts really do play a part, but they really play a part on our health and well-being as well. So whilst we're thinking and we're reflecting and we're analyzing, let's not overthink, reflect, and analyze. Because remember, everything starts with the thought. Everything starts with a thought. And we bring things into reality. We manifest things. And it starts with a thought. This is a very timely message for me because I do live in my head. I try and live more in the heart, but my head and my heart are always battling it out, and very often my head wins. And when it does, it doesn't lead to a very productive conclusion, because I tend to overthink things. And who was it? It's something I've seen quite recently. And I don't know if it was a channel I've watched or saw it on TV or I've read it, but somebody said that the majority of the things that we think will happen actually never happen. And that gave me some comfort. And again, it's how you look at it, isn't it? Because, you know, if we're putting an intention out there and we're thinking something might happen, and then we think, well, majority of the times it doesn't happen. But that's different, because when you set an intention and you align yourself and you focus on it and you give it your all and you go for it, then you can bring it into reality. However, if we're sitting thinking, I'm not going to do this because this might happen, or we're worrying about something that could happen, chances are it's not going to happen at all. So be mindful that, you know, let's keep our thoughts positive. Let's keep our thoughts healthy, and let's not overthink things that isn't going to be conducive for our overall health and well-being, because it really does start with a thought, and what we bring into reality starts with a thought. Simon, Boris was just saying more about the vaccination schedule and answering questions. No more changes as such. Thank you, Jackie. Jackie said she was going to keep an eye, because I was going to alter the time from 5 o'clock to about 5:15, but then I thought it probably won't be anything major, because we had our major update last night. So I think it would just be more of, you know, like they did in the past, where they just gave a little government briefing each day. So yeah, thank you for being here. We had an amazing turnout. 140 something people, I think, is a record for QuaranStream. So lovely to connect with you all. I'm sorry it's under these circumstances. I never wanted to have to bring QuaranStream back, but, you know, if we are going to be in this situation, then it's important that we're here together. I will see you tomorrow. If anybody wants to come up with any ideas of things that we can talk about, I'm all open to listening. So give me some ideas. And if at any point I can't make it due to work commitments, because I'm still working, I'm just working from home, like I'm going to be in meetings, or heaven forbid that, you know, I need to rush over to my mum's to be with her, then we'll have this quarantine where somebody will step in. So people are asking for the name of this deck. Is it the Moonlight? Yes. So if you Google or go to Etsy and search for Moonlight Oracle, it's not expensive, but you just buy the PDF. Okay. It's 52 cards, all using the RWS symbols. You download, once you've paid it, which is about £15 sterling, I think, so about $11. It's up to you then what you do with it. You just buy the PDF. Brant helped me out by then uploading it to Make Playing Cards and having a set published for me. But he did this little booklet that says printed exclusively for Simon Harrison, which was really, really sweet. And again, on the title card, he did that. So that was really kind. So yeah, that's what it is, the Moonlight Oracle. And you'll recognize all of these images because they're from the RWS tarot, and I just think it's perfect. I love it. And a few times when I've done readings for people, I've pulled one of these at the end as a clarifier. You're welcome, Emily. I love the community too. Simon, I think the cloud in the card says a lot. Too big and it blocks the sun out. Too little and we get burned. But in the middle, we get shade and sun perfectly blended. That's a really lovely way to think of that, Monica. I agree. Thank you. All right, everybody. Listen, stay safe, look after yourselves, and just remember we're all here. And yeah, we'll do all we can to just keep lifting each other's spirits. If you're not in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group, do come across, and that's something that you can access 24 hours a day, and there'll always be somebody about. So, all right, guys, until tomorrow, look after yourselves, go in peace, namaste, and blessed be.